Hey everybody, Ed here, and today I've got a small tutorial for you on how to dry brush. I've getting a lot of questions lately. Ed, how do you dry brush your figures? How do you do the lining on them? How do you do that sort of thing? So I figured I'd make a small tutorial showing exactly how I dry brush. Dry brushing can be done in a variety of different ways, and a variety of different paints can be used. The most dry brushing I see, and the only dry brushing that I do, is either in silver or white. So those will be the colors that I'll be covering today. I'll also be using Citadel paints. So, get my painting mat up here. And usually, when you dry brush something, it's normally a bold color. Normally, I never dry brush white or gray, just because it doesn't really look that good. Usually, it's something black. For an example, here is... Well, this is a project I was kind of waiting to reveal to some guys, but this is a Robot Damashi Zaku 1 custom that me and a friend made. And as you can see, he's got sort of the worn, weathered dry brush look on him. And some of you may think, oh god, it's terrible, how dare you ruin a Damashi? Well, this one was kind of already broken up, and a lot of the pieces were broken, so we decided to kind of save it and turn it into a Zaku 1. We're actually decided if anybody's interested, we were gonna start selling these. But anyway, yeah, you can see he's got sort of a kind of heavy, more heavy dry brushing, but it looks really good around the black and purple and such. And then if you want an example of another custom Damashi, here's my Quanta, which has some decals and minor paint apps all around him. And he has more of the silver dry brushing technique applied to him. See it around the corners and edges and such. Yeah, we do customs, so if anybody's interested, just let us know. So anyway, so here we have, actually this is for another custom that I'm doing for Connor. It's a black Gundam 007 swords. Actually it's kind of a 00 Phantom custom job that I'm doing for him. And this is the Buster Sword, obviously. And how to dry brush something is pretty simple. I'm going to be using white for this, so just Skull White. This is just my basic Skull White. Usually for silver I use this. I cannot find any of this anywhere, and I have very little of it left, and I'm very wary when I use it. Usually I use this on Warhammer figures. This is a Warhammer figure. I'm painting one of my friend's armies for him. And this is one of the pieces that I've done for him. So you can see some of the dry brushing on the shield and such. But yeah, silver is a really good technique for dry brushing for smaller figures and stuff like that. So, but white on black looks really nice too. So I'm just gonna open that up. It's a little messy, but oh well. And I have these green brushes. I got them from my art room at school, and I'll just use this one. Normally when you get them, they're kind of thin tipped like this, and they're very loose and nice and bristly. And after kind of pushing down on them for a while, kind of like dabbing them and making all the bristles spread out, you get more of this shape. And it's more spread out and kind of like fanish, I guess. The bristles on the top aren't bunched together, they're spread out more. And that's what you want for a dry brushing brush. You never want a new clean brush. And before you start, you're always going to want to loosen your brush up. So this is just basic rubbing alcohol. I get it from, I think I get this from a pharmacy. So I'm just going to scrub it off, yada yada yada. Makes it kind of nice and loose. Rub it around in there, and there you go. Your brush is already prepped. So then, you're going to dip just the tips into the paint. So you're going to have very little on the brush. And you put it on your mat, and you'll spread it around like that. Just smear it all over the place. And then, you're going to take your part, and you're just going to lightly go around the edges. And just kind of go with it. Make sure your brush doesn't get stuck. So yeah, and then you can sort of see how it's getting this basic coat around there. Now, if you want to make the edges more dynamic and make it less worn out, like the Zaku I showed you, you're just gonna basically roll some rubbing alcohol into a Q-tip, and then go in the areas, like in the center here. I'm wiping away a little bit of the paint, but you can just kind of go around so the edges are more highlighted than the actual piece. So yeah, that's basically how you dry brush. And again, maybe this wasn't the best example for it, but white works really well. This stuff works really well. Bolt gun metal, light metal, stuff like that works really well. And again, the silver is on my Quanta here. Actually thinking about selling this guy, but I'm not too sure. And again, some of you will probably bitch, oh, why would you ruin a figure like that? Well, I don't know. I like to put my personal touch on a lot of things, and again, this technique is just really fun, and a lot of people were asking me about it, so I figured I would share my wisdom on it. So let's take a look at some of the other figures that you can dry brush. Dry brushing can be applied to a plethora of different figures, such as all the ones I have displayed here. Transformers, Gunpla, Damashiis, custom Damashiis, little Gashapon, heck, even Warhammer figures. Dry brushing is a very popular technique that's used by a lot of modelers, and I hope this tutorial helped you a lot to figure out how to properly dry brush something. Thank you, and if you have any questions on any of the customs you see here, or would like to see anything up close, or have any questions about hiring me to do a custom job for you, please send me a private message or a comment. Thank you again.